All right, welcome in. Hour 2, the realest show on the radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show with Shaun Yurtkuran right here on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Guys, I just want to remind y'all, we are 100% funded by small business or big business. Let me throw that out. How about non-taxpayer money? We're funded by businesses and their support of us and them wanting to reach y'all. You know, it don't mean they agree with what we say, but they know that we've got a very dedicated audience here that will support this radio station and its sponsors. Some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. You know, it helps to have a great marketing plan together and have a great message, and we can help you with that. So if you're interested in advertising, would love to have you. I mean, look, make no qualms about it. I'm doing this full time now. So it's time to go out here and get a few more sponsors. I've got 2 or 3 spots available here on the show. I've been saving the phone line and the studio sponsorship, you know, for somebody who's ready to make a nice commitment, a nice long-term commitment of at least a year. You know, if you think that may be something you or your business are interested in, let's talk. Shoot me an email, clay@wyab.com. That's Clay, C-L-A-Y, @wyab.com. Let us see what we can do for you. We can advertise you on my show, Jameson's show, Mike Madison, Allison, and of course Kim Wade in the afternoons. These are some of, if not the highest rated talk radio shows in the area, most popular talk radio shows in the area. The Clay Edwards Show podcast is one of, if not the most downloaded podcast in the state of Mississippi that's produced locally. You know, obviously Joe Rogan and that type of stuff does way bigger numbers, but see if you can afford to advertise there. Loan me a couple bucks if you can. You know, so we do well. You know, like people listen to what we say. You know, big social media followings. You know, so people are listening. People are tuning in. They might not always agree. I mean, you need haters too. But they also buy stuff, get their cars worked on, and eat lunch like everybody else. So you can advertise to the lovers and the haters at clay@wyab.com. And speaking of great companies, real quick, let me tell you about Lakeland Glass and Tint. They've been with me since day one. Day one, Jason Anderson and the team. Would not have even gotten this opportunity if it wasn't for them agreeing to come on day one. If you need your home, car, or business windows tinted, Lakeland Glass and Tint. If you need your automobile glass replaced, your windshield, Lakeland Glass and Tint. And here's one of the things I love. Of course, there are Expels. Expel is the wrap. A lot of people call it 3M wrap. It ain't 3M. It's Expel. You can get your vehicle wrapped. You can get the clear shield put on, or what they're doing now. And they're also the Expel Dealer of the Year. And Expel also makes ceramic coating. And, you know, I know a thing or two about ceramic coating. They're doing ceramic coating and paint correction now at Lakeland Glass and Tint. And look, let me tell you, Jason Anderson don't halfway anything. It's going to be 100% right, or it ain't going to be done, or it's going to be done until it's right. So if you're interested in getting your vehicle ceramic coated, and look, let me tell you, the best time to get a vehicle ceramic coated is when it's brand new or when you just get it. Now, you know, it ain't going to cost you as much either if you get it done on the front end. If you got to spend 12, 13 hours doing paint correction, you're going to spend more money. It just is what it is. People don't work for free. So check out Lakeland Glass and Tint. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee that. LakelandGlassandTint.com. And, of course, don't forget they do wraps, too. So if you need to turn your vehicle into a rolling billboard with the Clay Edwards Show on it, make it look like something like a NASCAR, they can do that for you too. I'm not saying digital billboards don't work. Everything works, and I think digital billboards work great for advertising radio shows because you want people to turn their radio station immediately when they're in their car. I think digital billboards are great for that. But turn your car into a rolling billboard at Lakeland Glass and Tint. Or just change the color. These new popular matte black colors, these other flat black and matte colors are very popular right now. See them a lot on high-end vehicles like Corvettes and Range Rovers and stuff like that. Get your vehicle done like that. All right, LakelandGlassandTint.com. Schedule your appointment there or give them a call. Very easy phone number, 601-946-1000, where quality matters. Lakeland Glass and Tint, obviously located on Lakeland Drive in Flowood. And the tent shop and wrap shop is located on ceramic coating on Flowood Drive. So you can get all that information from them. 601-946-1000. All right, Shaun.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say we're about to gay things up a little bit here.
Okay. I was before that. I was like, you brought up haters, right? And that just made me think about that thing Cypher posted yesterday. The
yeah. Look, I don't want to give him any more oxygen.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't mind talking about his trial and all that because it's news, it's relevant. Acknowledging that somebody's ghost running his Facebook page and giving him any oxygen. What do Democrats love to say? I can't believe you're platforming them. I don't want to platform.
Do we
them.
say that? I've never said that. You keep platforming them.
Yeah, anytime like a Democrat podcaster or a liberal podcaster or somebody would talk to somebody like a Joe Rogan, for instance, would talk to anybody that went against the mask narrative or the COVID narrative or the vaccine narrative, or they were a Trump supporter or something like that. They're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're platforming them."
Okay.
They call it deplatforming when you take the platforms away. So that was like a big thing during COVID was you weren't allowed to talk to people on the other side.
Yeah, because that's kind of reminds me of we're watching that Bill Maher podcast, and speaking of the Hard Knocks, which it's been with the Jets, which is Aaron Rodgers. Maher had him on too the show, and the listening to him on Hard Knocks and on this interview with Bill Maher, you kind of feel bad for him the way the media portrayed him as this just horrible guy that was out there, lying about not getting vaccinated and all this stuff. I mean, it's like it was just completely misrepresentation of who he is. It seems like to me, at least.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's very interesting. Oh yeah, that was the other thing too. Like he called Hades about that.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, I just started remembering watching Hard Knocks every week because it's like I said, it's the Jets and it's his first season with the Jets, so they're focusing on him a lot. And you're like, this guy really got the shaft on this. It wasn't really fair, the way he was treated. So.
Yeah, but with that said, he went on Rogan and kind of backed all of it up too. Mm-hmm. He was like,
I didn't see the Rogan one. I saw the Bill Maher one recently.
His episode of Rogan's great. Look, I used to watch it. I never liked Aaron Rodgers until that. And I said, well, this guy's about medical freedom and about making your own choices. And I was like, I can get down with it. And, that should not mean you're a conservative.
I don't think he is a conservative.
No,
I think he was just making a point. Like that's what he wanted to do. And I think he got kind of just drugged through the woods on that.
Yeah,
it was
I don't want to put this experimental thing in my body. I'm a professional. This is how I make my money.
Yeah.
I should have more say-so in this matter. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, no, you want to kill your other players. You're a racist. I love how they turn not wanting to get vaxxed into being racism because they kind of brainwash so many blacks to get vaxxed that if you did anything that they didn't do, you were somehow a racist. At least that's how it was portrayed down here in the South and in the media, and the sports media in particular. It's one of the reasons I quit watching sports. I'm tiptoeing back in because, I do love sports.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people do on some things. Like, like a lot of people are still Garth Brooks fans. A lot of people still listen to, I still listen to Michael Jackson music, knowing what he allegedly did to kids. It's like you try to compartmentalize. It's easy to compartmentalize Michael Jackson. He's dead and he ain't still doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's harder to compartmentalize stuff when it's constantly in your face constantly. And it's like, okay, I can't compartmentalize your music from you because you don't shut the F up. Right. I never want to hear another Bruce Springsteen song.
As Bruce said, see, I'm not paying attention to that. Has he said something?
Just constant. A big hardcore lefty, And I could go on and on and on. And it was the same way with the NBA. I can never watch the NBA again. I mean, when they put Black Lives Matter on the court and put all them stupid sayings on the back of their jerseys. They played that All-Star game or the finals that year or something, and they all had political slogans instead of their names. But none of them said, but I bet you MAGA wasn't allowed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really. This was the first year I watched NBA Finals in years. I'm just not a big basketball fan. I haven't been a big baseball and football fan, but I don't even remember. But to your point, sports, movies, music, getting political kind of just takes away from what the art is or what the talent is, and I don't know. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to get into a Colin Kaepernick thing.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
He's got the right to do that. I just think that at the workplace ain't the place to do it. That's kind of my thing. Like, go do that on your social media, in your personal time, all that. Being a hater or being politically active, with the uniform on, it's like, I don't know. That's a no for me. You know, it'd be like if I worked somewhere and I got on the company Facebook page and spewed my political stuff.
Yeah. That's I mean, even like when I worked for the state, I mean, you weren't allowed to go do that, like on your company time. That was not something you were allowed to do. Your political beliefs and those kinds of things, you're not allowed to do that. So
yeah, I mean,
you get in trouble if you did it. I mean, from what I remember. So I mean, on your own time, do what you want to do. But.
Football, for the most part, has pulled back from that. I mean, there's still, I think, that erase racism nonsense in the end zones. When to me, I think the most racist bunch in the world are the people who are telling us to erase racism, but that's neither here nor there. But I can kind of ignore that because we're not constantly talking about it in press conferences. And, you know, I'll tell you what helped too is I quit watching, you know, having a job does this. I quit watching those shows like First Take and Undisputed and these shows that are just people arguing back and forth about sports.
It's so annoying. It is the worst shows
ever. If I never hear Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless again in my life, it'll be too soon.
Is that the gray-haired white guy, Skip Bayless? Or
he was blonde at one point, but
those are the worst. You know, I'll have it on. So like, I don't have it on, but in my office, I've got a TV up there, and I just eventually last year I was like, I can't take this. Yep. Like it's just like they're just yelling like this guy's a better running back than this guy, and this guy's. I'm like, you know, it's horrible.
Those shows in that time slot are made for guys without jobs to hang out at the barbershop all day or get to the bar at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Or college kids in dorm rooms. It ain't made for me anymore. And don't get me wrong, I used to be that guy.
Okay.
I mean, when I was in the nightclub business and only had to work 3 nights a week, I'd wake up and I'd watch that stuff every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it ain't made for 46-year-old Clay.
Yeah, I guess you know, sports rivalries are already natural outrage, so it's easy to stoke that. You can just stoke that by just making it worse and worse. And I just every time it's on, I just see 2 dudes yelling at each other the whole time.
I mean, like I used to despise Ole Miss and everything about Ole Miss. I didn't like Ole Miss fans, and I just don't care anymore. I don't even hate Ole Miss anymore. I mean, that should tell. Like, I'm sure some of my friends are listening now, and they're just like shocked to hear that. I don't care anymore. Like COVID broke me on all that. I'm like, I don't want to fight with my friends and family about sports anymore. We're on the same team about everything else, but that I just don't. It sucked the energy out of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of that. I think as you get older, you realize it's kind of. I used to hate New York Jets fans because that's like one of our division
you're
rivals.
A Dolphins fan.
Yeah. And I just like, but now these days, I watched the whole Hard Knocks with the New York. I couldn't believe it. I never would have done that 10 years ago. Like sat there and watched the New York Jets on Hard Knocks, like my biggest like hated team my whole life. You know, like,
the main person I was hoping heard my comment there, Tony. I won't say his last name, but he says, "Ole Miss loves you, Clay."
Yeah. Ole Miss loves you. Right?
Me and Tony had our fair share of arguments about State and Ole Miss. All right, let's take a break real quick. I didn't intend on this whole segment being about that, but we're going to take a break real quick, and we're going to come back and 3 topics we're going to hit before we get off the air. Let's tease it. There was a crappy situation on a Delta airline. I'd like to know what y'all think about that. Also, Shaun ended up at Decadence, which is the largest gay festival in the South over the weekend.
Me and Kim Wade. It was great.
Claims it was by accident. And apparently Obama's gay and smokes crack. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I hope you enjoyed this clip of today's Clay Edwards Show. You can tune in live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. on 103.9 FM, WYAB in Central Mississippi. You can stream it worldwide and live at WYAB.com, the TuneIn app, or Alexa. Just search WYAB. And of course, you're listening now on a podcast, so you can just hit subscribe where you're at. We update daily right here on the Clay Edwards Show, and check out all things Clay Edwards at ClayEdwardsShow.com for shirts and more. Peace.